Welcome to Monday from the Porch. Today's topic is drugs, sex, and money. How can a student resist? Imagine you're 18 years old and it's your first week in college. You're there because you got some scholarships and grants. It's your foray into the real world of independent living, the beginning of many tests of your common sense, smarts, and good judgment. On your first day, someone you just met offers you cocaine. You decline, perhaps because you learned somewhere that it could ruin the rest of your life. The next day, someone in your dorm offers you marijuana. You decline, perhaps because you knew a pothead in high school and you don't want to be like him. The next day, someone from your hometown offers you a beer. You decline, perhaps because you know you're underage or because you have an alcoholic in your past. The next day, your roommate offers you a cigarette. You decline, perhaps because you know someone who died of emphysema or lung cancer. The next day, someone you find attractive offers you sex. Things are getting interesting. You know from school about condoms, STDs, AIDS, not to mention the relationship and moral quagmires. So you nicely tell them you are very interested, but it's still too early. The next day, an official letter arrives offering you student loan money. You have had very little education about money. You don't know anyone who's died or suffered from money. You apply, get approved, and they send you a check every month. You don't have to repay it for years and years. That seems like plenty of time. Surely they'd only approve you for what you'll actually be able to repay, right? So whatever they send, that's what you spend. On the other end of that letter is a lender who has investors unhappy with their 0.1% return on their bank accounts. The investors are pushing to make more loans so they can collect more like 3%, 5%, or 7%. Sound familiar? Housing crisis of 2007, anyone? You receive your check, but because of your scholarships and grants, you don't need all the money. What should you do? Of course, we all know you should save it somewhere until you graduate and the bill comes due. Instead, somehow, other uses for the money magically appear and it gets spent. That is one way a college graduate who had scholarships and grants ends up with $29,000 in student loans at the end of 4 years instead of 0. According to a study by Experian, 40 million U.S. consumers now have student loans, and total student loan debt is over $1 trillion. That exceeds debt from either credit cards or auto loans or home equity loans. Lenders are pushing loans, and students lack education about borrowing responsibly. If you know a college student borrowing for their education, help them make sure they're not borrowing more than necessary. There are a couple of brochures on my LinkedIn page. Check out Judy McNary's book for recent college graduates called Coin, or if you're the parent or grandparent of a college student wondering how much to help them out financially, check out Chapter 4 of the Mindful Money Mentality. I'm Holly Thomas. That's Monday from the Porch. Have a great week.